My parents didn't even have faith in me. I was all passionate. I had all this work ethic. But when you're young, you don't have any experience. You don't know what the hell you're doing. I'm the e-commerce guy. I like owning a lot of different companies. That's my passion. So what I've learned in life, it's not who believes in you. You need to believe in yourself. That's gonna make your businesses succeed. I didn't own these 10 companies in frickin' 1 year. I wanna do $1 billion in sales. I did $300 million in sales in 15 years. I wanna do $1 billion in sales in 1 year. It just hasn't happened. This is probably the most important thing you're gonna learn from this talk today, and that is
Kicking Ass, Taking Names podcast, and today we are here with the guest that I met yesterday at Tai Lopez's mansion event, David Rivero. What's really cool is David and I met yesterday. We're actually going to do a tour of his mansion, which is actually within 5 minutes of Tai's house?
About five minutes from Tai's house.
Yeah, so this guy is like neighbors with Tai Lopez. And not only that, but David's got an extensive record. He's done over 300 million sales over the last 15 years. He's built companies in various industries from manufacturing, call centers. What were a couple of the others? Fulfillment,
e-commerce businesses, brands.
All of that. So e-com, fulfillment, manufacturing, all that kind of stuff. And then not only that, but David actually is, I think Tai Lopez is one of your clients, right?
Yeah, Tai Lopez was one of my clients for about 5 years.
Yeah.
We did all his call center services for all his brands.
Perfect. Yeah. So really big stuff, guys. So stay tuned. We're going to talk to David Rivero. So David, thank you so much for being here.
No, thanks for having me. I mean, I can't believe it was totally spontaneous.
Yeah. So last second pod, it's on the fly. But I mean, I was like, okay, well, you're neighbors with Tai. He was one of your clients. I know that you're doing big things. And here at Kicking Ass, Taking Names, everybody is really gunning to get to that next level. They want to know what brought you to this point. So I think the first thing that people really are going to want to hear is definitely your background, where you come from, where's your family heritage, your story, right? So definitely you're Latino, right? Living in LA. Were you born in LA or were you,
So my parents were born in Bolivia in South America. And then they came to America and had these 2 beautiful kids. I'm one of them.
Okay. You have a brother or sister?
Yeah, I have an older brother.
Older brother, okay.
So we were both, me and my brother were both born here. My parents were born in Bolivia. And my parents, didn't even speak English when they came here, right? So what happens when you don't speak English? You have the worst jobs, right? They're cleaning houses. They're doing yard work. They're, the jobs you get when you're a Latino immigrant, right? Not speaking the language. And then they got better jobs as they got older. But unfortunately, I didn't have anyone that could teach me about business. They couldn't even teach me English or grammar or anything, right? So school was very hard for me. When I was elementary school and junior high, school was not easy for me because, I would come home and my parents didn't really speak English, right? So it was tough growing up in grades, but my parents were I know you're Latino, right?
My mom's Puerto Rican, yes.
Puerto Rican, okay. Yeah. So you could relate where they're very strict. My dad was a captain in military.
Yeah.
So in Bolivia. So he had that disciplined kind of mentality, right?
My dad's Bengali, so right next to India. So
okay,
the school was number one priority. Yeah, you had to get everything done. If you didn't, you were going to hear from them,
Yeah, same thing, right? Yeah. So that's how my parents were, right? They couldn't really teach me about business or English or, things like that. But discipline is what I learned from them. And they taught me, my parents I would come home from school and I used to love playing sports. I would play soccer, baseball. I would love to skateboard. I would play all these tennis, you name it. You name a sport, I would play it, right? But my parents would never allow me to play a sport until I got my chores done or until I got my homework done. And I would come home from school and I'd have to, mow the lawn, dust all the furniture, pick up the leaves, do the dishes, make my bed. I had to do all these things before I could even step outside my home. But I think those values of hey, you got to do something before you get rewarded is helped me in life.
Right.
So that's what, immigrant parents, I don't know about you, you're Puerto Rican, right? So they might have taught you those same values. I don't know. That's how I was raised. So it was very valuable for me.
Yeah. Same thing growing up. Really, it was more of it's more of you got to do this or else, you're going to get in trouble. But I was such a bad kid. So I kind of just kept breaking the rules, and eventually they found their own way to kind of let me do my own thing and make my own mistakes, and eventually it would come back around. So
Yeah. So pretty much that's my little childhood, right? I was a very good soccer player.
Yeah.
And my dad was my soccer coach. And we would train. I would always practice. And that's one thing my dad taught me in the military. He's like, if you want to be good, you just got to practice more than everybody else. So before I would go to school, in high school, I would train in the morning. After high school, we'd have practice, right? After practice, I would have dinner. After dinner, I would go back to the park again and practice again. So I'm practicing 2 or 3 times a day. Most kids are practicing once. And that was one of the things that taught me, and because my parents didn't have money, they couldn't afford to have me go to college. So I got a soccer scholarship.
Okay.
Because I was a good soccer player.
Oh, okay.
And it wasn't for grades.
Yeah.
My grades were really bad, right?
Really.
But I was a damn good soccer player. So that kind of helped me. Went to college, got a soccer scholarship. And then I got my first job at a corporate America.
Okay, what was that?
Guess what happened? I was a headhunter.
Okay.
So I was like I would hire accounting and financial professionals. My degree was in finance. I was a business major with finance concentration. And I graduated from Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. So my parents are all excited. We were all taught, when you graduate from college, you're going to go up the corporate ladder and become rich and all that. So I get my first job as a headhunter. I'm all excited. And guess what happened?
What happened?
I got fired at my first job.
How long into this was that?
I got fired within less than a year.
Okay.
So I got fired at my first job. My parents were kind of bummed. So what do you do when you get fired?
Look, I guess, for usually another job.
You look for a new job, right? So what I did, I went out in Hollywood with my friends. I got drunk. With my friends. We partied. And then I tried to drive home like an idiot, right? And when I was driving home, I got pulled over by a cop.
Oh, okay.
And guess what happened? I got a DUI and went to jail in downtown LA. And by the way, downtown LA is not a pretty spot for any of you. It was awful. I was in there with criminals, gang members, and I felt like the biggest loser of my life. I felt like this tall. I felt like, wow, I got my first job in corporate America, got fired. Now I'm in jail. What a proud parent
Right.
my parents would be, right?
Yeah.
Of their child. But when I was in jail, I realized one thing. I go, corporate America is not for me. There's no stability in corporate America because you could be a college graduate, think you're going to go up the corporate ladder. They could fire you for any dumb reason. So when I was in jail, I was like, I'm going to start my own business. So when I got out of jail, that's what I did. I started my own business. I tried to do all these different things, and I thought I was going to make all this money. I was all passionate. I had all this work ethic. But when you're young, you don't have any experience. You don't know what the hell you're doing.
Right.
So I didn't really know what I was doing. And then I got in huge credit card debt, like crazy credit card debt, and I couldn't afford to pay my credit card bills. So what happened? I went bankrupt.
Oh, wow.
I went Chapter 7 bankrupt. BK, couldn't afford to pay my credit card bills. I couldn't afford to pay my rent. So now I had to move back in with mom and dad.
Oh.
So I moved back in with my parents after I went bankrupt. And that was embarrassing, right? I had my friends buying their first home, buying their new cars, new watches. I'm living with mom and dad, no credit cards, no bank account, no money to my name, no assets. And it was super embarrassing. And that was like a wake-up call for me. I was like, what am I going to do? I know you have Latino parents like me. My mom and dad were like, you have a bachelor's degree. Go get a job. And I was going to go get a job. And then I said, no, I'm going to start a business and make money. Like, well, you just did that. And you went bankrupt and you're living with us. That's what my mom and dad were saying, right? So my parents didn't even have faith in me. They wanted me to go get a job in corporate America.
Yep.
And I was like, Mom, Dad, I'm going to start a business and retire you one day. And they didn't believe me. So they didn't have the faith. My parents didn't. So what I've learned in life, it's not who believes in you, right? It doesn't matter if it's your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your parents, your brother, your sister, your family. You need to believe in yourself.
So what did you do?
So after that, I tried to start another business again, and it wasn't doing very well. And then I met my friend Tony introduced me to my business partner, Gary McNelly.
Mm-hmm.
I met Gary, totally nice guy. We met, we hit it off, we became friends, but he taught me about online marketing.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, Dave, you need to learn online marketing. That's going to make that's going to make your businesses succeed.
Mm-hmm.
So he would teach me some things. Hey, this is how you do this, how you build a website. This is a little bit about SEO, online marketing. And then he taught me. And then for 2 years, I was just practicing, starting all these different dumb little businesses. I was writing ebooks because I graduated. I went to, I got a finance degree. I knew a lot about taxes.
Mm-hmm.
So I wrote a tax ebook and I tried to sell that online. When you don't have money, right? I couldn't afford to buy anything. So the only thing I could do was write, because if I write something, it doesn't cost, it's just my time.
Yeah.
Writing a book. There was no ChatGPT at that time,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
I can't just write an ebook in like 2 seconds, right?
Yeah.
That didn't exist, right? So I actually had to write it.
Yeah.
And do research. And so I wrote its ebook and I would start selling it online. And that's how I was practicing how to do online marketing. And that didn't really make any money. And then what really made money is becoming an affiliate. Do you know what that is?
Right.
Do you know what an affiliate is?
Yeah, partnering with brands and selling other brands' services or products.
Perfect.
Right.
So I became an affiliate, right?
Mm-hmm.
An affiliate, to me, my definition is you're marketing other brands, products, and services for a commission. Every time I drive them a sale, they pay me a commission. So the great thing about being an affiliate, you don't need any money.
Mm-hmm.
So I was broke, right? I didn't have any money. So I was like, I could be an affiliate. It's free. I would sign up for these programs for free, market their products, and every time I made a sale, they would pay me a commission.
Mm-hmm.
So I started marketing health and beauty products.
What year was this in?
This is about 15 years ago.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, 15 plus years ago,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so I was an affiliate, right? Marketing other people's products and services. And I was getting better, right? I thought I was going to do really good. And I started getting a little better, and then I would have ups and downs. And then I kind of finally figured it out. I started making really good money. And then when I started making really good money, I called Gary McNelly. This is after 2 years of doing affiliate marketing, trying my tax stuff. And I got really good. And I told Gary, I go, you should try marketing this product.
Mm-hmm.
It was a male enhancement product.
Oh, okay. So you were one of those guys like buy this email with the
I was emailing the hell out of you and you were buying my product.
I don't know if I was even on the internet back then. How old would I be? Like if that was 15 years ago, I was like 15 years old.
There you go.
So.
You were young.
Yeah.
So I was marketing male enhancement, right? Mm-hmm. And it was making me a lot of money. Mm-hmm. So I told Gary, I go, you should try marketing this offer. He's all, dude, I'm not gonna market a male enhancement product.
Right.
I'm like, I'm a dick pill. I'm like, trust me, it makes money. Yeah. So I finally twisted his arm. He tried it. He sent out an email blast for it for a weekend. He made over $60,000 in 1 day, 2 days. And then he's like, David, we're going to become business partners.
Wow.
He's like, this crap sells. I go, I told you, man. So we became business partners, and then we started our own affiliate program. So he had a software, affiliate software. We had this great product. We started manufacturing this product and other products. So now we built this huge affiliate network. Mm-hmm. We had thousands of affiliates sending us sales every day. We were marketing our offers as well. And that's how we were able to do
similar to ClickBank, right?
Yeah, we were competing with ClickBank.
Okay, what was it called?
Market Health.
Market Health. Okay.
So we were the largest health and beauty affiliate network in the world.
Yeah,
we were probably the biggest.
It's crazy because you say it like it sounds like it would take so long, but only 15 years ago you were kind of just still getting your wheels turning. But then that means you've been able to amass that much wealth in only a decade and a half, right?
Yep.
So that means that I'm not saying it's new to you, but wealth is still somewhat does it feel like somewhat relatively still kind of new?
I basically feel like I mean, you play sports. Mm-hmm. I feel like I'm at the 10-yard line. Mm-hmm. And I still have to go 90 yards to score a touchdown.
So you're just too focused on like the next thing anyways, right?
Oh, yeah.
So
I want to do $1 billion in sales.
Yeah.
In a year, not 300. I did $300 million in sales in 15 years. Mm-hmm. I want to do $1 billion in sales in 1 year.
And then this is, so have you run all of your partnerships and all your businesses you too, or you have some you have your own? And How do you?
That's a
work
great
with-
question. So I own a ton of companies, 7-figure businesses, 8-figure businesses. I don't own any 9-figure businesses yet. I want to get one to do 9 figures. Maybe it's because I'm kind of branched out a lot.
Right.
So I'm like I'm like a serial entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I kind of get bored, right? Once a business is doing 7-8 figures, I kind of like, okay, it's doing good. I want my next challenge. It's like, that's my passion, right? Everyone has different passions, right? Some people have, you might be like Mark Zuckerberg. You have the same company for 20 years, Facebook. So everyone's different. I like owning a lot of different companies, and that's my passion. So that's me. And my whole goal is to kind of build a whole bunch, sell some of them, keep some running, and eventually there'll be that one business that'll do $1 billion in sales. It just hasn't happened yet.
when you're saying that, I'm thinking of if you would be a potential good fit for investor, possibly for my friend. He's formulating something called Vitamin Bar.
Vitamin Bar, okay.
So it's kind of self-explanatory, but basically going to be like a Cliff Bar, like a one of those protein like healthy bars. There's going to be a vitamin bar though, and
Okay.
I don't know. He hasn't really launched it yet, but that does remind me. Like it makes me think like of how many ways, like if it's just the world of entrepreneurship is so crazy. So when you are around, what are some of the most common questions that you get asked being an 8-figure, 9-figure entrepreneur, right? So what are some of the questions that you get asked? I'm sure people, know that you've got a reputation of building multiple various different brands. So it's not like you're, I don't want to say like a one-trick pony, so to speak, but some people, they only stick to like a specific, only one type of business or only one industry, right? You're branched across various industries. What is it that, one, allows you to succeed in each of those that you're doing? And then 2, what is it that you're specifically, what are some of like the skills, and what do you tell people when they ask you how you do that?
Great question. So I tell people to do things that you're good at and things that you're knowledgeable in and you're skilled at. I will never start a business that I don't know what the hell I'm doing in. For example, like entertainment. I don't know anything about the entertainment industry, right? So if someone goes, hey, David, I get all the time, you want to invest in this movie production, Tom Cruise, all these famous actors are in it. I'd be like, I don't know anything about entertainment. I'm not interested. Even if you could have the best cast in the world, I don't know that space, right? I invest in things I know, right? I know marketing. I know sales. I know e-commerce. I know technology. I know how to build brands. I'm very good at marketing. So I focus on things that, like if I see a business, I'm like, wow, if it just added some marketing to that, that could be an 8-figure business like in a couple of years.
Yeah.
I'm interested, right? So I look at opportunities where I could apply my skill set to expand the business. If I can't help a business grow, I don't invest in it.
And you said something really interesting I saw in a reel of yours, and I wanted to question you about it. You said that you ask your top managers for your top talent, who is it, find them, and then once you find that person, you fire them. And I was confused about that. So or could you explain to me what you meant by that? It is kind of a controversial statement. It got like 60,000 views on your YouTube.
When you have amazing talent, right? You always you want to keep your talent, right? And when that talent does not perform well, right? And there's people that will perform better, you got to get rid of them. I'm always hiring, I always go for the best. But if the best doesn't cut out, right? If you have high paying people, but you could hire people that unfortunately that could do the same job for much less, what are you going to do?
Right.
And that's what Elon Musk did, right? He had high paying people that were good, but if he could find the same exact great people for much less, unfortunately, we're businessmen, right? You have to fire them and hire other people.
Right.
And that's what he did, right? Like Elon Musk also has moved from California to Texas. Labor costs are less and taxes are less. It's a business decision, right? So yes, sometimes you're gonna get your best people, and then you're gonna fire them because you could find people that are just as good, right? But for much less.
Yeah.
It sucks, but we have to run a business, right?
Right.
If I don't make money, I can't afford to pay my employees' salaries. I've had thousands of employees throughout my years. And this has happened recently, actually. I had to fire 6 of my copywriters last week. And it sucked. And you know why I fired them?
Why?
Because I found an AI tool that could do their job 10 times better for 1/10 of the price.
Right.
I gave them severance, right? So they're getting severance. But I'm like, why am I going to pay for 6 employees when this one software does it for the 10th of the price?
Right.
And 10 times better and 10 times faster, and it's going to rank 10 times better on Google.
And that's, I think, what's going on in a lot of industries, right, with AI and the introduction of AI. But people, sometimes the best thing that could ever happen, like for me, I've had jobs where I've been fired and actually was happy about it. I had a better opportunity without it, like I think I'm one of those people, it's been really tough for me to work at places because I have kind of like a type A personality and a little bit of a stubborn mindset and a little bit of an ego. And those are, employers don't want to hire that, right? But it's great when it comes to not giving up on your own dreams, not giving up on your own business, growing your own business, leading and telling other people like, hey, if you want to work with me, like these are my lines. This is where I draw. This is where I'm good at, my circle of competence. And so, I mean, in specifics when it comes to business, so what, like relating to everybody who's listening to what you would give them as advice, what are some of the things that typically you give as advice to people, like life lessons from David?
One life lesson I always tell people is develop a skill, something that you're good at. Hopefully most people are good at something, right? And if you're not good at something, let's say you have no skills, go develop marketing and sales skills. That's the most important. If there's any skill that you should learn is marketing and sales, because you're going to apply that in any business. I don't care what business you're in. If you don't have sales and marketing, how are you going to get customers? How are you going to get people on your podcast? How are you going to monetize your podcast? How are you going to, sell podcast services or digital agency services? You're not, right? You need to be able to get clients in the door. You need to be able to sell and do marketing. So I tell people the number one skill, if you don't have it, focus on that. That's what it did. Remember when I just told you just now? I learned online marketing. I learned sales. That's how I was able to do $300 million in sales because I know how to market. That's the number one skill I tell everybody to learn. You know how there's a lot of people say, oh, I don't like to sell. We sell every day. When you want to go on a date with a chick, aren't you selling her you so you could go on a date with her? Right? You got to, hey, I'm going to take you to dinner. We'll have fun. I'm nice. Oh my God, right? You're selling her. You meet a girl at a bar, or when you're trying to get into a nightclub and there's a security bouncer there, you're kind of selling the guy to get in the door. In life, you're trying to, and everything we do, we're selling, right? And the better you get at it, the better your life's going to get. Right. It's going to open so many doors. So that's the number one skill I tell people to learn.
And then as far as like your application of like the business, so specifics on the industry that you've been focused on lately. What industry have you been working on? What spaces are you excited about? What do you think that the trend is going to be for because you were in manufacturing, call centers, and online did like marketing. So what do you think as far as like future trends? What are people saying? If you're around here, you're around Beverly Hills, where kind of people are looking at. What are like the hot trends? And not only that, but what type of businesses? Like, could you give us some unique insight on that?
I tell people right now, if you're not applying AI technology to your business, you're going to go out of business. You're literally going to go out of business within 3 to 5 years if you're not applying AI. I started applying AI over a year ago. Tons of AI. Everything we do, I go, what can we do to automate the process? Like I just told you about the copywriting example, right? Boom, that cut out 6 employees. Right. I've cut out lots of other employees because of AI, right? I've probably cut 40, 50 employees because of AI.
And what industry specifically? Because I know AI can apply to every single industry. So where have you seen it really have the best usage?
content creation. It's the best. It's funny. We split test ads all the time because I would have my copywriters, because I had so many copywriters, write ads and creatives, right? And then I would have AI do it, ChatGPT. And ChatGPT won 99% of the time. So I'm like, wow, I'm paying employees, but ChatGPT ad creatives for ads, for website creatives, for blog creatives, does way better. So I'm like, why am I spending money on freaking employees on this? When AI is why? Because you could give it a prompt. Hey, what are the best? It's all about the prompts. That's what people don't understand. If you give it a basic prompt, it's going to give you a basic response. But when you get really good at being very detailed, and you keep on adding an extra prompt and an extra prompt and an extra prompt, and then after you did like 8 prompts, it gives you that perfect nugget that you want. And that's what we do. Like my guys are like, they're getting so good at prompts now that the content just gets amazing. You got to use AI in your business for content. So for SEO, you mentioned SEO earlier.
Yeah.
I have 10,000 pages indexed for my website, for my businesses, right? They're all indexed on Google and they're getting ranked high because they're good pages, right? And then you also want to use AI for languages. You want to have it for Spanish, for German, for Portuguese, right? Because let's say I live in America, but Spanish is my preferred language and I speak it better and I understand it better, wouldn't you rather buy on a Spanish site that's in America rather than in English, where you kind of like, some of the words don't make sense to you?
Right.
You just click a drop down off, the site's in Spanish. Guess what? With AI, you could translate every site to every language in the world in seconds.
Right. Even like those weird, obscure languages like Bengali, like my dad's, language, they have like their own unique, and how many people can read that are not from there? Nobody. But if they're used to it, like there's just such unique, like the way you could communicate with somebody, you can send them a message, you could just type it in English. I mean, it's crazy. With ChatGPT, I could say something and then it'll speak it in another language. Just say like, oh, give me this whole breakdown how like, someone's stuck in parking and you're in LA. They need to know, can I park here?
Yeah.
I'm trying to tell them all the 15 parking rules. I can literally just take a picture of it and say like, tell me this in this language.
And now, I don't know if you've seen this, they actually have it where you have the headset now. I can talk to you. You could have a headset on. I could have a headset on. I could talk in English. Let's say you don't speak any English. Yeah. It'll translate it to the language you speak. Right. And vice versa. Right. So I could be from Japan. You not speak you don't speak Japanese at all, and you and me could have a perfect conversation back and forth. Like,
let's go outside of just like ChatGPT AI. Okay. Let's go into just like industries. What industries have you preferred? Why? Like, I know you say online. Online's still like a broad term. Like, is there a specific, I know you said health and beauty earlier. Is there specific industries you're more geared toward? And then what do you give people advice for when they're entering, and like, how do they look at what industry to enter?
Okay. So great question. I always tell people there's tons of e-commerce business. I like e-com because the internet's not going away, right? AI is growing. Internet's never going to go anywhere, right? E-commerce is great because people are always going to buy products online or sign up for services online. So I like those businesses because you don't need a brick and mortar location, right? The startup cost is much less. It's a website, right? So if you provide a service, let's say you provide digital marketing service, right? Do you have to hire anybody? No. If you're a good if you know the service, you just have a website. You could use ChatGPT. You could use other AI services, and you could start a digital agency tomorrow if you're good at marketing.
With no cost of goods and no physical or no franchise fee. And then is there a specific is there a specific niche within an industry that you prefer? Like in Arizona, they have Moon Nurseries.
Moon Nurseries.
Huge, $85 million.
And what do you mean by moon?
They do plants.
Plants?
All kinds of plants. They're nurseries, plants. Okay. They've done $285 million. There's not that many people who have done that. And they did it in, this is only, I don't even know. It's like a 20-year-old company, 30-year-old company, but they've gotten mega massive off of, they sell palm trees. They have like a huge, one of their huge locations is right by my house. And then also when I leave Arizona, I always see all these palm trees. They grow tons of them. They sell them for $30,000 each.
It's not Moon Valley. You're not talking Moon Valley.
Moon Valley, I think, nurseries.
You said Moon something.
Moon Valley Nurseries.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah. So they're huge, right?
Yeah.
I own a company called Shrub Hub.
Mm-hmm.
We do landscaping. We're actually the largest landscaping design company in the world.
Mm-hmm.
We're in all 50 states. We're worldwide. We're in different languages, different countries.
So how do you choose a niche? You know what I'm saying? Like, how did you get to like, I want to do that niche?
Okay, and now that's great. This guy, my business partner Scott, presented this to me. We went to college together, and he's been in the landscaping space for 20 years. I've never done anything in landscaping, but he understands that business very well, right? But he doesn't understand marketing, e-commerce, sales. He's all, David, there's a hole in the market. There's a lot of people that people are still doing things back in archaic days. No one's kind of brought in this industry online. And I'm like, let's do it. I'm the e-commerce guy, right? So I was like, okay, let me figure out an offer that we could put, and we built a whole digital landscaping design. So we automated it with AI. We built this technology and software. So I don't need 10,000 designers. I do have designers because it gets edited in AI, and then the designers revise it and clean it up and make things look perfect. Mm-hmm. But rather than having 10,000 designers, I need 200, right?
So like as far as like applicable advice for those who are listening, right? Give them some of the best advice, up and budding, starting entrepreneurs. Maybe you've got, people who've got a lot of times I see the guys who like to follow us, watch us, much appreciated, by the way, is like a guy who might be in sales. He may make 10, 20 grand a month. He's got another, 50 or 100 grand set aside. Typically someone's starting out 25, 30, whatever it is. These guys who are, we're at a certain level, but we all know we're trying to go up. We're trying to progress, but also it's difficult for people to make those first moves. I know people who've been holding on to their nest egg for like 5-10 years now, and they're young, so that's a long time for them. Yeah. Right. So I have a friend, and he's got like 100 grand. He doesn't know. I was like, dude, if you knew how to double it in a few years' time, you wouldn't have to work at your job. You could just keep doubling it, but you need a vehicle to double it.
I have the secret sauce. I'm gonna tell all of you right now. This is probably the most important thing you're gonna learn from this talk today. At least one of the most important things I'm gonna cover, and that is you need to build an ecosystem. And let me explain what that is. It doesn't matter that's what I built. That's how I was able to do $300 million in sales. So I own a fulfillment company, right? We warehouse and ship products, okay? I also own a call center, right? So we do inbound customer service, outbound phone sales, email, chat support. That's what we did for Ty Lopez and his 5 different brands. Right? So I own a fulfillment where we warehouse and ship products like Amazon, right? When you buy something on Amazon, let's say you buy his water on Amazon, it gets warehoused and it gets shipped to the consumers. So that's what I do. I own a location here in Pacoima, California, Milton Keynes in London, and Australia. So we have 3 physical locations, right? I own the call center, but then I also own a manufacturing business. We manufacture health and beauty products. Okay. So now this is the ecosystem. All these businesses feed each other. Right. So when I land a fulfillment client, right? Some of them are like, yeah, I want to start my own manufacturing. I want to manufacture products. Let's say health and beauty products. Go, hey, I manufacture health and beauty products. I could have your own private label brand. Your brand could be called, let's say your name's Bob. You could have Bob's Skincare, right?
Bob's Beauty.
Bob's Beauty. All right. Whatever, right? So now I have them as a manufacturing client. And now, I'm doing their products for them. They need to ship these products to their consumers. So we're their fulfillment company. We're providing their fulfillment services. Customers are going to, excuse my language, they're going to bitch and complain. They're going to, where's my product? I want a refund. It didn't work. Or, hey, it's late. Where's the shipment? They need customer service. They need email support, chat support, phone support. I provide that service, right? I also own a shipping insurance business. So you can insure all this advertiser can insure all those shipments. Yeah. And that's another service. But you see how I built this ecosystem. That's the secret sauce. So they all feed each other business. One client is actually 4 clients. Sometimes there are 2 clients in one. Sometimes they're 3. It depends what service they do.
Yeah.
We also do marketing for some of our clients.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm actually, so I'm in the process, and that's my mindset has been obsessed with how do you build an ecosystem within podcasting? And this is cool. I can give out the secret of what I'm going to do because I'll tell you right now, most people are not going to sit there and pay attention to every single word of any podcast. Like retention's
100%.
30 minutes, they're gone.
Yeah.
20 minutes, they're gone. So if you stay to this part, this is the nugget, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Nobody's done $1 billion in podcasting. Joe Rogan could, but I mean, he just wants to make his Spotify deals.
Yeah.
Do you know how many people could utilize it? How many, imagine I say, this is the advertising, role. Now, this is the ecosystem of hundreds of podcasts and listeners role. Like we have a line, right? It's like you're taking a train. I think of it as taking a train. You could take this line, get to your destination, but imagine if you can go here. I mean, what's the quality of a person that comes from an ad versus a person from, I was on 17, the ad was on 17 podcasts, right?
Yeah.
So it's like an alternative to advertising. Then there's also like the ecosystem of getting to know, like, could you be in that network of these people?
Yep.
I think it's way bigger than people even understand.
Yep.
And I want to build that ecosystem. So that's like my vision. Like my vision's like a billion with a B in terms of like podcasting. Sure, saying one thing and doing is another, but my point is the vision is there. Like that's the idea, the $1 billion idea for my idea is like, ecosystem, right? So I totally get.
Yeah, you get the ecosystem, but this is a mistake that most young entrepreneurs make. You try to do 10 things at once, right? Do not do that, right? Do one thing first. Your core business needs to be making money.
Right.
I don't care what business it is. Once that business is making money and it's doing well and it's kind of almost running almost on autopilot, you're like, wow, I don't have to do that much and money's coming in and it's making money. That's when the light bulb comes on. That's when you're like, okay, now I could do ecosystem, my first ecosystem business,
right?
One related to it. So it's something that's related to your core business that could feed, both businesses could feed each other business. But don't start that other one until the first one is profitable, making money, has cash flow. Then you start your second one.
Right.
That's the problem. People get ADD and try to do 10 things at once. I didn't own these 10 companies in frickin' 1 year. It took me 15 years to own 10 companies.
Right.
So one was making money. I'm like, okay, this one's making money now. It's running well. Now I could start this other one.
And then also it lowers the costs of starting the second one when one is successful because you said you're your own customer.
Yep.
So that helps subsidize the pricing of it, right? And then also, because it costs to invest and get started in a business. But if you need to hire a call center anyways, and you start your own call center, you're just basically saying, can I get this call center stuff for discount? Well, if I could just basically get it for wholesale if I do it myself, right?
You nailed it, right? That's the trick. The trick is if you start a business and you need it for yourself, you're using it for yourself anyways. Now you just need maybe a little more square footage to add some more clients, or maybe.
So I need to start an airlines now, so I can start traveling more because that's really what it is. Like Richard Branson did that, right? So he started the Virgin Airlines, and that like it's imagine you get into a space, and this is also where I think it like the synchronicity of finding passion in what you do and starting a business. Because if I love to travel and I love to speak. Okay, the third thing I want to do is eventually be on stages. Like I have to build but that requires credibility.
Yep.
So I have to build my credibility to get to that point. But I know I love to travel. Like if I have to already do those things, like I'm already using that cash flow.
Yeah.
It just goes in and investing in your business gets you to step 2 faster than you would have started from step 1 anyways, right?
Yep.
So it almost guides you to where you need to go. Your first business almost can help guide you to your second business.
And another trick is when you start your ecosystem, try to do it in something where there's not an investment. There's always something in your industry that you can add as an extra service or product without an expense. And those are the best ecosystem businesses, right? Where let's say you're in the podcast space, right? So, hey, my job and podcast, I'm trying to get people to get on my podcast and I'm going to charge them $2,500 to be on my podcast, right? But then you're like, hey, when I get them in the door, I'm going to offer them digital marketing services. I'm going to offer them how to
build your own podcast.
Build your own podcast and start your own.
So
how to get sponsors.
That's actually what we're doing. So I was recording right before you got in here.
Okay.
Some ads that we're gonna run. So we're gonna do some like if you have your own show, or if you have your if you're like a 7 or 8 figure entrepreneur, you already have the money, but you don't have the time, you don't have the resources, you don't have the X, Y, and Z's. We do it done for you. So we'll build your show, we'll manage your show, we'll grow your show, we'll show you what we've learned, we'll use all of our resources and knowledge. A lot of times it's the specific industry, like what's going to make you big time, right? So, but yeah, exactly.
Yeah, remember, you saw me, most of my businesses that I started when I was an affiliate, I didn't have any money. So I always tell people, start things that don't cost money when you don't have money, right? Like tomorrow, this is totally opposite, right? Once you do have money, you could invest. Like tomorrow I have a meeting. I'm potentially, I can't mention the company, but I'm potentially buying a company tomorrow. I'm meeting with attorneys and the person that's going to sell the company. Now I'm at that level where I'm buying companies.
Yeah.
Right? Because I want to grow faster.
So it's like a 7-figure brand, or is it already like an 8-figure brand?
It's a 7-figure brand. Yeah. It's not an 8-figure brand. 7-figure brand, but it's going to help me grow. Right? I can't talk about it right now, but that's the level I'm at now.
Can you talk about the industry? What industry type?
Accounting services.
Accounting service. Okay.
That's what I'm doing now, right? I'm kind of like, next level for me now is, if I could, I could start that business from the ground up, or I could just buy one and I'm already there. And if I get it for a good price.
And time is money. Speed in business always wins, right? So.
But when I didn't have money, that's when I was an affiliate.
Right.
And because it doesn't cost anything.
Yeah.
And then you learn those great marketing skills and sales skills. And then after you learn those skills, you could start making money.
Yeah, I see as sorry, if I'm talking a lot, it's because I'm actually really into it. Yeah. It's I see the main issue is that people want it. Like I find people who want to get started, and then they're like, yeah, man, I want to start this clothing brand, whatever. And the first thing they want to do is buy this printing press shirt, whatever, and all this. I said, do you have Instagram? Do you have an iPhone? Do you have Printify, whatever it is?
Yeah.
Like you do realize like 80% or the 90% of the challenge and most of your marketing and your money is not going to go to that. Like you need to put it towards ads.
Yeah.
And you need to put it towards like the logo should be, honestly, logos, designs, etc. I put like $5. I go on Fiverr. I need this logo from Fiverr. Took me 24 hours. Got a guy
It looks
design.
like it. No, I'm just joking.
It looks like this. 24 hours.
It looks like it's from Fiverr. No,
Fiverr, $5. Hey, I made it simple.
It looks good. And
I made it. I wanted it to look like a freaking like a cobra, and you just punch some like splatter of blood or something happen.
Yeah. No, it's cool.
But it's here's the thing. The point is that I don't want to worry, and I'm not the big time guy here. You were the guy in the room, right? But I think that what I just from observing and learning from everybody, even my dad, right? Like he's made millions of dollars, and it's observing these people. You see that most people, I think, focus on the little things that are not as important too much in business, and they're not. Would you agree, or would you agree with that sentiment?
That's funny. It's funny that you mentioned that because I do not focus on anything little at all.
Yeah.
I'm a big picture guy. And I'm going to teach you something. I want to teach your audience this. Mm-hmm. When you start a business, it does not have to be perfect out of the gate. I want you to start your business with your least viable product, your baby minimum. When I launch a business, it's literally, sometimes I don't even have the product in stock.
Yeah.
I just want to see if it's going to sell. I just start running ads. I have my designer, hey, build a quick site, a landing page, a little funnel. Let's see how many leads we get in. Let's see how many people check out. I put it on a freaking merchant account with the wrong billing descriptor. Yeah. I don't even care, right? I'm just learning. I just want to see if it sells. I throw a little traffic at it. I'm like, shit, our acquisition cost, my CPA to acquire the customer was $40. We're selling it for $100. I'm like, damn, we're making money out of the gate.
Yeah.
There's a business here.
Yeah.
Okay, let's make the website a little better now. Let's buy the product. I know we're going to have to refund those 4 customers or 20 customers. It's okay. And now let's buy the product. And it works. There's a business here, right? Yeah. So people try to, like you said, the little things, don't worry about the little things. Mm-hmm. Worry about Does it sell? Least viable product. Once it sells, that's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
Right? A good problem to have is fixing operations. Don't worry about operations when you launch. Sometimes I would launch a business and I have like, it's me and like my tech guy and one of my employees, and that's it. I go, let's see if it does anything. Oh shit, I got to hire some people. This thing's working. Right? So that's what I want to tell your audience. It's super critical to just test, launch things. Your buddy that has $100,000 in his checking account right now, and I hope he's at least earning 10% interest on it too.
He's putting in like crypto and stocks, but
that another thing I want to share with people. $100,000 earning, say 10%. That's a normal return, right? That's $10,000. Okay, is that going to change your life if you make $10,000 a year, Shaquille? Nothing. No. Now let's say that $100,000, he put 15,000 of it into a business. He's still going to have 85, running some ads, build a website, start running some ads. And now that little business makes him $20,000 a month, right? Not crazy. That's doable. Let's say $10,000 a month. I'm going to do half.
Yeah.
Now that business is making him $120,000 a year, small little business.
Right.
Compared to his $10,000 a month return putting in the stock market.
Yeah, essentially why I don't want to invest. I always tell people, like, they say like, oh, do you invest in this? Do you invest in that? Stock X, Y, and Z. And I'll say like, dude, honestly, if I have money, I want to invest it in ads, because if I can get it 30, what's his name? Alex Hormozy got a 37x on every dollar. Like he's ever in his lifetime, he's like a 37x ROI. It's insane.
Yeah. I mean, that's
gross.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying 37x. I get it. That's like one in 1,000.
Yeah.
One in a million.
He's definitely the exception, not the rule, right?
Yeah. But either way, let's
4x though, even for example, a standard ROS.
3x. Think about it. If you invest $100,000 and you make $300,000, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Right. So people got to think like that. It's when you're young, you should not be putting your money in the stock market.
Yeah.
Right? When you're young, that's when you should be taking chances. That's when you should be starting businesses. That's when you should, because what happens if you don't make money? What did I do? I moved in with mom and dad. Yeah. Right? So if things don't work out, you go back to your uncle, your grandma, your mom, your dad, your aunt, whatever, your brother. You could always fall and live with your family.
Right.
Right? So there's not that, when you get older, and you're married and you have 3 kids and you got college tuition and private schools, you can't take as many gambles because you're like, I need to feed my family.
Right.
But when you're young, you should be taking all the chances in the world.
Right.
And that's what I did. I was like gambling all the time. I was like, if I fail, I'll just move in with my parents.
Yeah.
And that's what I did, So, and have a lot of roommates. People overlive. Like, oh, I'm going to live in this beautiful condo. It's $6,000 a month and this. And they're spending $7,000, $8,000 a month. I'm like, dude, that's like after you add it, you're spending like $100,000 a year and you only make 150.
Yeah.
You're like, dude, why don't you live in something that's $2,000 a month?
Right.
And now you have an extra $100,000 to put into your business.
Right.
So it's like, don't live outside your means. Like when you're young, like have a ton of roommates.
Yeah.
Live in cheap rent. Live with your parents until you start making real money. Who cares? If you want to go on a date with a chick, just get an Airbnb that weekend and for a couple $100.
Right. Go to happy hour on Tuesday.
Yeah, happy hour.
Happy hour dates on Tuesday. There you go. Well, with that being said, so I think we're a little up on time, but guys, we're going to also be doing a house tour with David. So stay tuned for that because I'm really excited to start doing those tours with everybody. I wish we would have got the mansion party video for Ty Lopez, but I think he's going to be throwing another one. So if you're watching this, you guys should go attend to the next Ty Lopez one.
Yeah, you guys always network. I have a monthly mastermind at my house in Beverly Hills every month.
Oh, okay.
I started it 10 months ago, and the next one's September 10th.
Okay.
It's millionaires, entrepreneurs, business owners. They come to my house once a month. I have about 100 to 150 people that come.
Yeah.
And I have usually 5 really good speakers. Ty will probably speak at one of them. I'll have him come. But we have tons of amazing speakers. And it's just, You get tons of value from the speakers, but then it's networking.
Yeah.
It's networking before, it's networking afterwards, and it's a great way to build your network and just learn and get value from everybody.
Right.
So it's called The Growth Talks, thegrowthtalks.com. You should definitely come. If you ever want to follow me on social media, I guess Instagram is probably the best handle.
Yep.
The David Rivero on Instagram. And I want to thank you, Shaquille, for putting me on your podcast. This has been a great time. I know we met just recently, but I know we'll probably do some business and be friends. So thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah. Well, guys, if I make it big time, I'm working with David now. So everything he's touched has turned to $1 million. So, all right. See you guys. Bye.
See you guys later. Thank you.
I'm going on an island now. All right. Thank you, brother.